How's the feeling, folks, and how's the feeling in the group?
It's a good feeling. I mean, the rooms are... I've never seen the rooms like that. Bloody parents and brothers and sisters and just a lot of happiness in the room. We'll have to settle it down pretty quickly, but, should enjoy that moment where you play a game like that and you make your way into a grand final. They're hard things to get to, as we know. And it was looking a little bit dicey at quarter time. But after that, we found our legs and played some great finals footy and showed a lot of character.
You talked about maturity and lessons you've learned from previous campaigns. It felt like we got a good encapsulation of that tonight, particularly after that first quarter. Yeah,
hopefully you did, because we have worked really hard at learning from all those occasions where we haven't played in the manner that we wanted to in some of the big games. And it's been building up. We were better last year in finals. In the end, we just got knocked out by a champion team. But we learned a lot from it. We've learned a lot from Geelong, playing against them in finals and playing against them in preliminary finals. And we've never really ever shied away from our lessons internally. I know I stick up for my blokes like a madman sometimes, but internally we've always dealt with our issues and our weaknesses, because that's how you get better at them. So, yeah, all that performance tonight, all of those things that we've been talking about and working on sort of came together because we weren't in a good spot at quarter time. I thought it just turned slightly just before quarter time. We just started to look a little bit better, and then once we got a bit more control over the ball and took a lot more uncontested marks after quarter time, we got our pressure up. It was just a different game. We had 3 forward-half turnovers and in the first quarter and ended up with 29. So it was particularly in those middle 2 quarters we got that bit of our game right.
Chris, what did you say? Sorry, mate. At quarter time.
I said it was a bit of a scratchy start, boys, but I felt like you started to get going a little bit just before the end of it. There, I was pretty positive. No good yelling and screaming and carrying on. Just showed faith in them.
Did you pull any levers at quarter time? Did you change anything at all, or was it just about having to play them?
No, I didn't change anything. I did sense that I thought the game was changing, and like they were really good at clearance in the first quarter. They were really good at contested possession. After that, all that went our way, and that's their one wood. And again, Josh Dunkley, what a fantastic job he did tonight on Cripps, who's a champion player. He stuck with him all the way, won a bit of the ball himself, put enormous pressure on. So, after quarter time, we pretty much played the game in the manner that we wanted to.
Can you tell us about through your eyes, the assertiveness of your half-backs particularly? Like obviously it was pressure all around the field, I understand that, but just Kitty, Coleman particularly, Connor McKenna, Lester, these guys were turning the ball over.
We talked at quarter time about the fact that we felt like we were retreating too much and allowing Carlton the space to use the ball. And we just said we've got to be bold enough to come forward and put pressure on them. And that's the big change in the game. You would have noticed we got lots of turnovers from those sorts of plays. And, we showed some vision of that at half-time to say, well, this is what we need to keep doing. And we kept doing it. So, but our half-back flankers were enormous. I mean, Kadeem Coleman's just a young fella and, playing a big final like that, some of the bits of play that he showed tonight was just fantastic. And, Connor McKenna's wants to be an Irishman who plays in an AFL premiership, so he played like that tonight. He wants to play in that grand final next week, so he's a terrific story too. And Ryan Lester, well, he's had his best season ever at the age of 30. Or is he 30? I think he is 30. He's 30 or 31, but he was magnificent early. I thought our defence stood up particularly well in the first quarter. Well, that to defend 20-odd inside 50s and to only concede 6 shots was probably a pretty fair effort.
Dane Zorko said during the week he wants to go around again, and that second quarter I think he had 11 touches and 300 metres gained. He was someone who really put his foot.
Yeah, he helped swing the game for us. It's always good when Zorks has got the ball in his hands because he generally uses it well, although I did think in the first quarter he was just rushing it a little bit, but after quarter time, he got his composure and created many opportunities for us. I'm so pleased for him that, that we're going to get into a grand final. That's his dream. It's his 250th game next week. How about that? That's pretty good, isn't it? Playing your 250th in a grand final, and it's fitting for him because he's been such a huge part of what we've been on about the last 7 years. And he took over the captaincy at a difficult time and led the troops particularly well. And with his energy and his enthusiasm, he was the right man at the right time. And he's been so gracious this year in stepping aside and allowing Lockie and Harris to take the reins. But he's still a really important leader for us.
Will you allow yourself time tonight to celebrate personally or reflect, and then before you switch over tomorrow, or are you sort of already going to grand final mode?
No, I'll relax a little bit tonight. My daughters are up, and one of my grandsons, and so we'll go home and have a wine and smile a little bit, and then get on with it tomorrow.
How do you approach the week, Chris? Well, you've done it before, but most of the guys haven't. So what's your advice, I guess, to the players?
Well, there's lots of different things that happen in grand final week. Just got to embrace them and enjoy them. Try to keep the week as normal as you can, but understand it won't be normal. I think they're the key things. Just calmness around the place. Obviously, there's a little bit of planning already going on, hoping that we might win tonight. So a fair bit of that work's been done. We just need to get our players together on Monday and talk to them about what the week looks like so that they know what's coming.
And, you saw what's coming, I guess, last night, Collingwood at the G too. It's going to be loud and it's going to be a big day.
Yeah, it will be.
Last night's game, and what are you expecting?
Yeah, it will be. The grand final crowd's a different crowd than the normal crowd, though. Preliminary finals is the weekend for the fans, but the AFL grand final is a bit more of a corporate event, so there's a lot of people with different allegiances in the crowd. So what I'm hoping is that those who don't barrack for Collingwood jump on the Lions bandwagon and get behind us. So shout out to all those people who are there that are not Collingwood supporters. Please do that.
Chris, we saw Lockie play the game out, obviously, and he was really good in the last quarter, but he looked like he had a sore shoulder. Is that the shoulder he's had problems with over the years and just stings on him?
I think he got a stinger because he gave me a good hug after the game and he didn't seem to be too worried about his shoulder. So we've got a few battered and bruised blokes. I mean, that was still a pretty tough game, but we've got 7 days to recover, and we can look after them this week. We don't need to do a whole lot of training. We just need to make sure they're ready to go again.
Probably be remiss not to ask you about Dizzy Gardner's game, coming back from such a long break and playing on Charlie as well.
Yeah, I was not surprised. He played really well in finals last year for us, and he's been patiently waiting for his opportunity. He's a really experienced player, and he's an outright competitor. So really pleased for him. He's been one of the blokes that's been on the journey for the last 7 years, and he got an opportunity tonight. I'm sad for Jack, but I'm really pleased for him, and he didn't let us down, and I knew he wouldn't. It's good to acknowledge that.
For taking a goal.
It would have been a rare moment for Diz to kick a goal, but I haven't actually had a conversation with him. I might ask about that at the meeting when I go back.
Will you try and make the decision on Jack Payne early in the week for clarity for the players involved, or will you try and give him?
No, we'll give him maximum time, and then we've just got to make a decision.
So he's still a chance.
He's still a chance. He's getting better. He's got a bit more improving to do, but he's, hyperbaric chambers and all those sorts of things. He's doing everything he can to get himself right. So I'm really proud that he's gone about it in that way, and hopefully we've got the problem at the end of the week trying to work out what the team is.
I wanted to ask you about that Cam Rain in the second quarter. It was like he was shot out of a cannon there in the second quarter, particularly. Your thoughts on his performance and I guess what we can expect in a final, type of player he is? That's
why we drafted him with our number one pick, because he's so dynamic, and he, to some degree, people might say he's maybe not as consistent as they would like him to be, but where he plays mostly as a forward, it's not easy to be in the game all the time. But it looked like he took it upon himself to turn the tide the Lions' way in the second quarter. And that doesn't surprise me because he's such a good team man. And one of the things that he and I have been working on this year is for him to sense the moment when he needs to impose himself on the game, and I reckon he's really learning to do that.
Did you move him into the centre bounce where I think he shrugged a few tackles, or did he move himself in there?
No, he's got a licence to do that from time to time. The players just in there doesn't know to let him do it, so picks the moments.
And that's a sign of that growth, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Picking those moments that you mentioned.
it is, and the others to call him in. You know, I don't know whether he called himself in or whether they called him in, but it doesn't matter, does it really?
Fagan, just one on Collingwood actually. I don't know if this is weird to ask you this, but Dan McStay got ruled out today, and you were obviously close to him for so many years. Have you got a thought on what he might be going through? I know he's an opposing player, but you're obviously close to him.
Yeah, it's your worst nightmare as a player when you've played with the team all year, you've been a solid contributor, you get to a grand final and you can't play because you're injured. That's the worst thing. So our thoughts go out to him, obviously, because our rise as a team over the last 7 years, he played a really important role in, and so yes, always sad for players when that happens, but particularly for him because he's a bloke we all like and admire.
Thanks, boys.
Thank you.
Thank you.